You know, villains rarely consider themselves to be evil. There are some exceptions, but many bad things have been done in the name of apparent heroism. Tonight's hero, if you can even call them that, wished to force his dream on everyone, which has put him on a collision course with the world. But let's get into his mind, shall we, with audio recordings from his own laboratory. Let us explore the mind of, and let's not be afraid of this word, a genius. A mad one, yes, but still a genius.
Age 750, June 17th. I finally managed to gather what has remained of the research. I'm glad that Goku is not around to see this. To think that a single child possessed so much power fills me with dread. Frapp was sure to destroy most of our old documentation, so I will have to improvise. Everything is in shambles, and only my anger keeps me together. Not only that, but some of the surveillance that I've managed to recover confirms my suspicions that Commander Red was proven to be an even bigger fool than I could have anticipated. I knew I should have made a move earlier, helped the army reach its true potential. The loss of Gero should have been my first warning signal. It is my fault. Now I stand amongst the ashes of what used to be an unstoppable force and try to figure out what I should do next. I considered pursuing Model 8, but from what I've gathered, it is too faulty to give me anything useful. It's time to start something new. For now, I will call this one Model 9. Age 751, November 3rd. My prototypes are proven to be faulty. What is now known to be Android 9 would satisfy a lesser mind, but not mine. I can say that at best I have managed what myself and Frapp have managed to create all those years ago, maybe without some initial flaws. The problem I can see with that is pretty obvious. This thing won't be able to challenge this child, this Son Goku. If this child has been able to show so much potential as early as now, I can only think how that will increase in the future. Model 9 will be a challenge for him, and I cannot risk losing it now. In my spare time, I have tried to create a tracking device that would help me keep an eye on my enemies, but the results are still far from acceptable. I have managed to repurpose some of the old army robots, though. Apparently, not all the old storehouses have been destroyed. They will be instrumental in my future asset acquirement. For now, without much hope, I'm starting my work on Model 10, trying to test out few possibilities and remove certain flaws. Age 753, May 9th. Demon King. Such a ridiculous term would not even cross my mind a few years ago. But here we are, in a world where such beings almost conquered the world. Was it an alien? A real demon? That would require further research. But this is only further proof that the world needs my inventions. That we need to transcend our physical limitations. I know that there will be people who will resist. But like with all obstacles, such naysayers shall be removed. Son Goku is growing in strength. I was able to see some limited footage from the encounter he had with the so-called Demon King, and the amount of growth he was able to obtain in such a short time. Simply marvelous. Is this brat even human? A question for later. For now, I'm almost sure that Model 9 is going to be scrapped. I'm not getting anything useful from it anymore, and its constant questions about its purpose start to irritate me so. I can still get some use from 10, but early stages of Model 11 have shown me some promise. I might yet reconsider a new approach to the problem. Age 756, May 7th. Note to self. Begin scrapping a Model 12 by the end of the week. That was never going to work. I had a breakthrough, though it was born from blood and tears. The issue has always been the energy source. This new prototype is something astounding. If I am right, One day it will be able to generate near infinite amounts of energy and be the perfect power source for the next models. Unfortunately, I don't think it will be as effective with the new project as I hoped it would be. But I'm not worried about setbacks anymore. The next three are a testing ground for something bigger and better. I had such a singular vision in those previous years, when I should really look at this path I'm going through as one big journey towards the ultimate goal. Needless to say, the Demon King's offspring is still around, as is Son Goku. I need to finalize this tracking device project to try and decode their abilities. I'm officially starting Phase 3. Machines will be here only to supplement humanity. But in order to do what I owe to the world, I need to start thinking about living subjects. I'm sure that the energy source can improve them on a cellular level. Time to dust off my old biology studies. I knew they would come in handy someday. Age 757, May 8th. Note to self, those recon devices are a great success. Though I might have gone too far with 13, 14, and 15 in terms of designs. Oh well. I will finish them once I set up some tests with organic subjects. Age 760, December 13th. I know it is possible to keep them alive. Maybe the problem is that all the subjects are not the healthiest specimens I could find. But I'm not a monster. I won't be taking healthy people from their lives only to prove a point. Instead, what I'm doing can be viewed as recycling. After all, they don't have anything better waiting for them in their pathetic lives. I find myself tinkering with models 13 to 15 lately. Maybe my hubris got the better of me. Maybe I'm forever to be stuck with machines. I could technically make the new engine work with a mechanical model, but would it be as effective in the long run? If this is going to be my swan song, so be it. But I shall make this source work with a model. I just need to think about a suitable form factor. As for the good news, at least the main function of 13 seems to be working. But I think the personality matrix is faulty. Something that I have to keep in mind in my future endeavors, which I hope will come. I haven't felt this old in a while, but I'm afraid that my body may fail me before I'll be able to finish it. But I cannot stop. For humanity's future, for Gero, for my revenge, I cannot give up. Age 761, October 13th. He will be back, no doubt about it. But seeing life slipping away from his eyes has proven to be rather satisfying. I could intercept that whole process, but that just wouldn't give me all the satisfaction I deserved. That, and my theory has finally proven to be correct. Son Goku is an alien being, and more are coming. You see, maybe that's the point. Maybe human bodies are not meant to hold so much power. Luckily, I might have a chance to get a different type of biological makeup. Maybe this will finally allow me to help with the stagnation that Phase 3 has encountered. This new prototype, I would rather call him Phase 2.5. He's turning out to be very, very interesting. Age 761, October 14th. Note to self, do not use the pronoun him. Effective association is harmful for the workflow. Age 762, November 3rd. The Saiyans have given me the greatest gift I could imagine. This sample. No wonder why Son Goku's strength is growing so fast. What an interesting defense mechanism. Getting such power increases from surviving a near-death experience has created a race of near-perfect warriors. Of course, the sample is pretty lackluster, and while I could try simple cloning, I do not desire to create a simple Saiyan clone. No. What I desire is something that could hunt them, where no Dragon Balls or any other magical nonsense could reach them. Still, I have a rough idea of how this should work, but this would be a Phase 4 project. Yes, I know. It feels I'm overextending a bit. I'm not quite done with Phase 2. Phase 3 is just a theory, and lately I've run out of subjects for that. And I already think about Phase 4? But I feel something resembling happiness for the first time in years. as I feel that despite all the setbacks, we are going forward. Log edit. Also, Piccolo's cells, another alien being, how many more are there, should also be taken into consideration. Their ability to perform fast multiplication is outstanding. Age 763, December 31st. End of the year. But what a great success. This last batch of living subjects have successfully survived the procedure. Phase 3 is officially back on track. For now, they seem to be rather insubordinate. A clear disadvantage over the machines, but at the end of the day, is it the ability to think creatively the main reason why I choose them over the synthetic models? And speaking of them, 13, 14, and 15 are going to the sublab. I don't think I can improve them anymore, and they are miles behind what those new models will be capable of. Besides, I already have a mechanical model that is superior to them in every sense. I just need to find some time to finish the programming. I catch myself finding more and more reasons not to, though. Age 764, August 17th. The greatest of minds can find victory in apparent failures. It is clear to me that I will never be able to fully control Models 17 and 18. That's the price I have to pay with the infinite energy working miracles with their organisms. While they are still trying to grasp their full potential, it is clear to me that they will eventually attempt to turn on me. But that doesn't concern me. Ever since I came up with Phase 4, I knew that they will just be accessories to my complete vision. Today, I acquired the final piece to what my ultimate creation is going to be. Those space emperors called Frieza and King Cold by my enemies are one of the most precious samples that I was able to get. In fact, they are the final samples that I will need for Phase 4 to work. You see, their ability to change forms is simply remarkable. And if I can lock a similar change behind a trigger, I can control its behavior. And as I stated years ago, I want a hunter. But today, I can solve two of my problems. You see, I am pretty sure that this being will be able to gain some rather extravagant powers from possessing not one, but two infinite energy cores. Its same biology, combined with Namekian cells, and the durability of this new species in its makeup, should technically allow it to sustain such amounts of power. I also give it some elements from Earth's animals to provide it with certain desirable traits. The only issue? It will be extremely vulnerable in its infancy. But you see, this is why I do not consider Models 17 and 18 to be total failures. Their infinite engines will be what will trigger the transformation of the ultimate creation. It will naturally seek to absorb them in order to accommodate their cores to its own makeup. It's quite simple. This being will be my own safety measure against the unruly creations. The only problem is that its expected growth time will be around 6 years, which means that I should keep an eye on them until then. They are powerful enough to defeat Son Goku, I'm certain of it. Once they will grow accustomed to their power, but the risk is very high. Who knows? Maybe I will force to turn both my internal and external enemies against each other. In a worst-case scenario, the ultimate creation will be the one to defend humanity from the external threats, which I'm sure exist far beyond what we've seen. As for Model 16, I'm too old for this. This is my human weakness speaking, but I cannot force myself to finish the program. I should never have built him like this, to be quite honest. It was what kept me sane and alive during those recent years. But I cannot see him destroyed. Not again. Not ever. As for my human weakness, this is something for another log. Log redacted. Further information about other Phase 4 projects restricted. They tried to kill me! That's it! I'm shutting them down until Phase 4 is ready! Meanwhile, I have another idea. Age 766, September 18th. Before me stands Model 19. Ironic. I programmed him with every single thing that annoyed me in Models 9 through 11. It seems like a regression, and yet, this is what I need at this time. something obedient, something that can keep me safe. This model will utilize a new method of gaining energy, using an outside source. After researching this energy, that Son Goku and his friends call Ki, I found a way how to harvest it from living specimens. Maybe it will be enough. After all, my enemies have grown over-reliant on the usage of said Ki. 19 is a weapon, blunt, effective, and as I mentioned before, obedient. But it's still a machine, a tool, and tools need the right operator in order to work at their best. It's been 16 years since I swore my revenge, and I've grown old. So old. And yet it still burns in my veins as desperately as it did 16 years ago. I would love to make it more personal. I was even thinking, how would this type of energy absorption model work with an organic subject? But I've run out of test subjects. Except one. This might be my final log, but the supercomputer has all the data it needs to perform Phase 4. Worst case scenario, it can still use some of the Phase 2 models. They could be useful after all. Still, I would allow myself to be beaten by many things, but I will not be beaten by old age, turning into some kind of graceless vegetable. If my final act for the world, for science, and for you, my dear Gero, is going to kill me, then I welcome death with open arms. Because I have faith that what I have created will improve humanity. Many will not understand, but I never cared for people that lacked perspective, or were too cowardly to make difficult decisions. Time to start the final experiment. Age 766, October 31st. I do not need this log anymore. Whatever will happen is going to fulfill my vengeance. So much has been prepared, and I managed to defeat the worst enemy of them all. Death itself. Compared to that, Son Goku will be a trivial task. Once my personal components will be ready, I shall take the charge to Son Goku directly. 19 has proven to be an exceptional assistant. This is going to be officially the final log for the sublab. After this recording ends, every single log shall be deleted. Sentimentality will no longer hold me back. I'll make sure to do that with the other laboratory as well. No need to overwork Phase 4 before it is officially started. Execute. Delete all logs containing words Gero, 21, and 16. Transfer all the remaining data to the supercomputer. Then, after 24 hours, seal the sublab and delete my logs. End.
So, we watched as once a man emerges from his laboratory, together with his mechanical assistant. It is hard to say if his heart or mind is still intact, if he still dreams of humanity advancing beyond its limits. Right now, the machine is set on killing. And although the machine doesn't know it, one day, the creation will change the multiverse forever. Or rather, keep it as it was, depending on your interpretation. But the sad thing is that the human part is completely gone, and will never be able to enjoy its eternal suffering, knowing that it had part in saving humanity, one way or another. Such is the tragedy of genius. Such is the fall of a madman. Good night, dear listeners.